Hello everyone and welcome to another Grand Cat review with me, it's the Grand Cat, and today we are looking at our very first Super 7 figure, and it is going to be Casey Jones, and I got this Casey Jones for a few reasons. First of all, he is significantly cheaper than the NECA cartoon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Casey Jones, because that Casey Jones is worth a fortune. But secondly, I took a look at the NECA cartoon Casey Jones, and if I thought he was good looking enough, I would have paid the money. But I honestly didn't. I didn't think he looked that fantastic. I think the Super 7 actually looks better. So that's the reasons I went for that. Has the whole blurb at the back here. May contain small parts, adult collectible, not a toy, etc., etc. And then just your usual blurb, 2021, Viacom International, all rights reserved, Nickelodeon, so on and so forth. So this is the outer box, and inside we get another box. So this is a cool thing with Super 7 figures. This is the first Super 7 figure that you're seeing, then it's going to be pretty cool to see. You know what, let's try the other side, because that side's a refusal. And there, that's a little bit easier. And as you can see, they've actually kept the packaging nice and sealed for you as well. And as you can see, the packaging is also very, very protective, because this is meant to be a collectible. It is not a regular style figure. It is not the kind of thing that you're supposed to pick up in just your regular toy shop. So you see there it says Casey Jones. It has this unique thing. Actually, this is actually molded. You can actually feel this. So that's quite cool. That it's actually raised up a little bit. So we are now going to open it up. It says warning. Danger of suffocation, etc., etc. All the stuff that you have to legally put on to make things foolproof. You know what? I'm just going to cut that rather than ruining the fine plastic. So this one I'm going to keep the box. So sometimes I'll keep the box, sometimes I won't keep the box. It depends on the figure. I think this is going to be kept, but we are going to open it. We are going to unbox it. So here he comes. He slides out like so. And this is the back of him. The battering vigilante sportsman, Casey Jones. Let's read the blurb. Like all psychos, Casey Jones, the masked sportsman, wanted to be a legend. Armed with broken bat, shattered dreams, and one golf club, Casey turned his ambition towards crime fighting, modelling himself after his favourite vigilante cop show. Okay. Casey decided to take the law into his own mitts. Outfitted with cast-off sports gear, Casey challenges every criminal who dares to go out of bounds. Teaming up with her beloved turtle teens, Casey strikes out with a special vengeance against Shredder and the Foot Clan. So you can see that they've tried to put as many sporting references in there as possible. Now, the Super 7 is based off of the original 1987 version of the figure, and oh my goodness, he looks fantastic. So sometimes, like the Super 7 Turtles, I don't think look as good as the NECA cartoon TMT Turtles, but the TMT cartoon NECA Casey Jones doesn't look quite as detailed as what this guy does, and that's why I wanted to go for the Super 7 version of this, because well, I did have this figure as a child, and for some strange reason, just random backstory history, when I played with this figure as a child, I had the Mega Drive game Splatterhouse 2, and I used to treat him as the main character. From that, I think his name was Rick something. But of course, that was also heavily based, both of these heavily based on Jason Voorhees from the Friday the 13th series, with the hockey mask style. So It's very, very lovely to see here. It comes with a whole load of accessories. Let's open them up and see exactly what we are looking at here. So we're just going to cut them open from the top. Let's take a quick look at the bottom as well, see if there's anything. I'll turn it the right way around. So there you go. Just in case anyone does care about seeing the top and bottom of these things, I do like to try and show off everything. Sure that there's maybe one person out there that wanted to check the bottom for some reason and go, oh yeah, that's it. You know, looking for like some copyright info or something. Maybe some years from now, someone has looked them up. So here we are. So the inside is just plain orange, nothing special going on there. Very reminiscent of the original, 1987 figures. But now let's look at Casey himself. So he comes with two blister patchings. One on the back here. They're still taped together. Okay. Oh, of course. Let me just take a snip of these for speed. And we'll also just snip that as well because it's some kind of weird industrial sellotape. So these green ones here, that is supposed to be reminiscent of the original 1987 figure, which the pieces did come just as green unpainted. So you've got that selection there if you want to use, the nostalgic version. He comes with 3 different sets of hands, which we'll look at in just a minute. We have 3 different baseball bats with different incarnations. They're not all exactly the same. We have the golf club, which is all kind of wrapped up in tape or something. And then the hockey stick, which is very similar. And then 3 pucks as well as the golf club, the golf bag, which is what Casey Jones carries all this around in. So let's take a look at the figure first. So we need to undo the ties to get them out. Thankfully only one tie, so appreciate that, Super 7. Much easier than the NECA counterparts, which generally take a mild forever. And okay, so he is very tightly in here. We're going to go with the feet first. Push those out. It is moulded around the muscular calves of Casey. That is, try and take out the hands and the shoulders, get the head out as well, and there we go. So Casey Jones looks awesome. He has the blue tint in his hair that the original figure had. Of course, the cartoon didn't have the blue tint in it. It was just kind of plain black hair. He has all the texture of all different hairs. He's got the rips in the hoodie and everything. This bit here is a little bit strange, but I think if he's on a shelf, I feel like this could have been moved forward a little bit, actually. If we just move this up a bit, yeah, you can see that the body part could have just been moved forward just a little tiny bit there. Because you see that it does match up with the back, it just doesn't match up with the front. So that's a bit unusual, but pretty cool all the same. So let's just move this out of the way and we'll check the articulation of Casey Jones before we go into the accessories and see what we are working with here. So this looks to be a single elbow, which has nice movement. It kind of clicks, so that's quite cool for keeping its position. The wrist is on your regular socket. Oh, it's not on a socket actually. It only rotates. It's only a kind of rotator peg. This is actually quite cool. You can actually see the veins in the forearms of Casey as well. He's got the bicep swivel. The shoulder does go all the way up, so that's quite cool. You get a lot of free ability there. He's very, very easy to move. It's comparable to Strong Collectibles actually, which really, really surprised me. This is the first Super 7 figure that I've had, but it's very flexible, which is a welcome change to the amount of figures that I review. The head is on I think it's on a ball socket. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just on a regular socket. It seems to go left and right. I was trying to move it up and down, and there's a little bit of movement there, but I think that's maybe just the space on the actual socket itself. The legs, what are we dealing with here? Yes, okay, so, oh, wow. So he can straight up do splits. So that's quite cool. A lot of flexibility in there. The shins swivel. The thighs swivel to an extent. So that's quite cool. The knees, let's try that. Knees are very stiff. Okay, no, we're getting there. There we go. I was almost about to say I don't think I want to push that. There's only one knee joint. It's not a double knee here. And same with this one. There we go. You can see the knee socket there. So it's quite cool. It's interesting. And the feet are on a socket. Yep, they can rotate left and right. They can turn as well. And they have a little bit of movement forward and back, but the trainer kind of stops the movement there. So this is a very cool Casey Jones figure, I must say. Obviously it is very, very faithful to the 1987 Playmates figure, but you know, it's more faithful to the figure than it is to the cartoon, because the figures and the cartoons weren't exactly the same as each other. The colour of the pants was supposed to be a kind of more sort of beige kind of colour, and I think the top was supposed to be red, or maybe that was just the newer cartoon. I can't remember. Maybe his top was supposed to be green. Can't remember. But I do know that he didn't have the blue parts in the hair. It was just plain black. But I think this is a really, really cool figure. What we're seeing so far from. So let's take a look at the accessories. I am going to be using the full-on coloured versions. I'm not going to be using the original green because the set of figures that I'm using are all the cartoon stuff rather than the 1987 stuff. If I was trying to do the Super 7 1987 stuff, I'd probably use the old green style, but because of what my collection is, I am going to go for the coloured version. So it's quite cool that it gives you the option for whichever one you want to go for. Now this golf bag is really detailed. Like, there is a lot going on here. Just check that out. It's really, really quite cool actually. It's also very, very solid. You know, it feels solid. This looks like it's detachable, but it's not. This is just one solid piece here. Same with this part down here. So it's very, very cool. So the idea, I think, is that Casey is meant to be like some kind of hobo that just kind of steals various sports equipment from places. I'm never actually been sure what Casey Jones's backstory ever was, or if his backstory changes, because in the Turtles movie he was a cop, from what I remember, and I think in the original cartoon he is just a psycho. I think in the cartoon he never actually takes off his mask, and in the movie he takes off his mask in like the first few minutes. So that's a very, very different change of character. There is the golf club. We're going to look at all of these in just a moment. I'm just going to take them all out first, and then we're going to give them the proper appreciation that they deserve. I think the hockey pucks I'm just going to leave in here. I don't really see those being used, and it seems like the kind of thing that would just get lost easily, and I think it would maybe just be better to keep it in the original box, possibly. You know what? Okay, for the sake of the camera, if I was just doing this myself, I would have just left them in there. But because we're doing a YouTube show at least I'm pretending to be a YouTuber, then we will show off the hockey pucks as well and see, just in case there's anything cool or anything special that you might not be able to see from the inside there. So unfortunately the sellotape just cut itself in half, which does tend to do sometimes. Oh my goodness, this sellotape is the worst. It is deliberately teasing me. It is falling apart in my hands there. There we go. There's one, there's two, and there is number 3. Okay, so there's the hockey pucks. We're going to leave those down for just now as well. I don't remember Casey Jones ever using hockey pucks. I mean, I'm wondering if maybe in the cartoon he had like maybe exploding hockey pucks or something like that I've forgotten about. I'm not sure. I know that he does just try to use all the sporting equipment. I'm pretty sure that he had a catcher's mitt and maybe a bowling ball at some point. Again, it's been a while, so I am not the absolute expert on Casey Jones, unfortunately, as much as I'm pretending to be. So let's look at the accessories. So the hockey stick, it has kind of bent just a little bit just in the packaging, but it's kind of cool. It's almost like, I mean, I feel like Casey Jones wouldn't be one with a perfect hockey stick in the first place. The hockey stick is kind of what I always associate. Well, maybe it's just the hockey mask that I always kind of associate the hockey stick with Casey Jones. The golf club is very bent. You can see that there's a big curve in there. I feel like that's meant to be more straight than what it is. But you can see it's just kind of slowly bending there. But there's a lot of detail that's went in here. This whole part up here, looks like the top of a golf club. I don't know what is going on here, whether this is meant to be taping or what is. Or, are these elastic bands or something like that around the metal part of the golf club? I'm not sure what's going on here. If you know, let me know in the comments below, because I'm interested. If there's any kind of backstory. So we'll look at the 3 baseball bats. So one of them is completely perfect, which is very cool to see. We have a hockey stick that has a big chunk taken out the front of it here, you can see. It's also got some markings on the sides as well. But I really like this wood effect that they've got going here. They've really kind of put a lot of detail into it, and look at this one. This one is supposed to be chopped right off here, but they've actually carved what a broken baseball bat would look like. So they've really put a lot of detail into what they're going for here. Right, so let's try and we'll just fill the golf cart with the various different weapons. Do you also fit in there? It looks like 4 is kind of the limit. So I think he does need to hold one of them at least. Now, does Casey hold it over the shoulder blade, or does he hold it this way? Now, is it this way or is it that way? I'm not sure. Let's try it this way first. So just put it over. Getting it over the head is going to be a bit tricky, actually. You know what? It might actually be easier if I just do this. Trying my best here. Obviously, I don't want to go breaking the little part there. A little bit that attaches the golf club. So if we do something like that. Now, does that look correct? Part of me thinks no. Part of me thinks it's supposed to be the other way. Alright, so let's fix that then, and we will do it the other side. So same again, I'm going to raise this arm up, which is going to be a little bit harder. Thankfully this is soft plastic here, so it's giving us a bit of leeway. Oh, that is difficult, to say the least. Aha! It's almost like a kind of puzzle to working out how to do this. There we go. There, I think that looks slightly better. Yeah, and it sits better as well. So I do think that it is supposed to be that way around. And you can see that it does kind of mold itself almost around the shoulder as well. So yeah, I would definitely say that that is the correct way to pose your Casey Jones. Okay, so unfortunately with the weight of the golf bag, he is now leaning backwards, so we need to lean him more forwards to get him to stand, which is now giving me a lot of problems. He's giving me a lot of grief. He does not want to stand, but there we go. Right, so let's look at the hockey pucks. So the hockey pucks, we can see there. So they've got a little bit of tape on them. Each one is molded just slightly differently. So you can see there that the taping does go around the full piece that you can see. This one is a plain black hockey puck. Nothing special going on there. Just to show the difference between the taped ones and the regular ones. And this one just has a kind of little cross stitch on it with the little taping. And now lastly we're going to, so these green ones here, these are exactly the same as these. You can see that it is exactly the same apart from they are unpainted. It's the same golf club, it's the same hockey sticks, it's the same baseball bats, etc. And this is essentially your little weapon cravat thing. So this is a kind of thing that the 1987 figures came with, and then you would pull the little figures out, or you pull the little weapons out yourself, you know, and then attach them to your figure. But we are not going to be touching this today. This is just going to stay as it is. It's going to remain in the box for all time. But we are going to look at the different hands. Ah, so the hands do have a movement here on the wrist. I was thinking they didn't have that earlier, so I was mistaken. So let's get these hands out of here in the first place, which they are very molded into the thing. And then once we've got the figures out, once we've got the hands out, we will take a look and see exactly what they are. So I can see we have closed fists here. Closed fists that are really in refusal and don't want to leave their box. Oh my goodness. The bit of Herculean strength. Only came out by the will of the gods there, that one. Right, so we have a set of open palms that you can see where the fingers are all kind of open. That's quite cool. We have two gripping hands, which is interesting because the figure already comes with gripping hands, so I want to see if there's an actual difference between these here, because they look very similar. I think that that's the same hand. You can see the curve in the thumb and everything as well. If it's not the same hand, then it's very, very similar. And then lastly, we have two of the closed fists, which is your generic punchy, fighty grip. He said being nonsense. So let us now equip the hockey stick. to Casey Jones. What is the best way to do this? What do we want Casey to be doing? I think maybe we're going to have this open hand pointing towards. So let's take this hand off here. Do it on camera. Oh my goodness. That took a bit more strength than I expected. And then it came out more suddenly than I expected. Went in really easily though. Yep, there we go. And the golf club came out, but I'll just put that back in there along with the other baseball bats. And then we're just going to use this hand to grip the hockey stick. I think we'll do it that way. So just want to put the smallest part in first and then line that over like that. Now unfortunately, because he doesn't have a double elbow, we can't get it all the way back, because I would like to lean it over the shoulder, but that is not permitted. So I think if we maybe do something like that, we can maybe get a kind of cool pose for Casey. Now remember that we do have to lean him forward, so I'm going to bend the knees just a little bit, because that bending the knees makes a figure stance look more realistic. That's a little tip for you if you are a figure photographer, than if they've got their legs straight, because people don't tend to stand with their legs straight. So I think if we do something like that, then that is pretty cool. I could see him threatening to fall back there. So I'm going to try and expand the stance just a little bit. Can I make the head move up just a little bit like that? We'll do something like that. And how is that looking? I think that looks pretty good. So let's bring it in, the little circular gimmick. So I think Casey Jones is about the same size as the turtle. The only thing that we have here, because this is a new session, to compare him with is Super Shredder, and you can see that Super Shredder is ginormous next to him. I think Super Shredder is on about the 7-inch range, maybe larger, maybe closer to 8-inch. And I think Casey Jones is around the 6-inch variant. So he should sit very well with the rest of your turtles. Remember that Casey is supposed to be a little bit taller than turtles, because turtles are meant to be a little bit shorter than most of the main characters. The turtles only come up to about the shoulder of April O'Neil. And let us go. So this was a much longer video than what I expected, but this was our first ever Super 7 figure, so I think it was worth it. And yeah, there we have it. I think Casey Jones looks really cool, actually. It comes with a lot of accessories. I really like the way that he looks once he's posed, and can definitely see this going on any collector's shelf, whether you are part of the the Turtles games, the Turtles cartoon, the movie, or even the Super 7 original series of Turtles, or even if you're just trying to collect a selection of Turtles yourself and Casey Jones is one of the main characters. I think the Super 7 Casey Jones is really cool, and he's going to stand out if you've got a whole bunch of NECA figures there as well, because you're going to see a difference between the two of them. So I think this is very awesome. I don't think I'm going to go for any more Super 7 figures, but this has really opened my eyes to how good Super 7 is. So that is going to be it for this video, folks. I really hope that you all enjoyed, and if you did enjoy, please give us a like, share and subscribe, and if you are subscribed, then please click the notification icon so you can see when more of these videos go up. And if you watched all the way to the end, it's almost a half-hour long video. I just want to say thank you very much for sticking with us, and that is it for this video, folks. I hope you all enjoyed, and we will see you all in the next video. Goodbye, everybody.